We are pleased to welcome Assemblyman John Bramnick. He is, in fact, the Assembly Republican leader. Good to see you.
Great to be with you.
Let's talk. You know what? We're going to talk issues, but we're also going to talk a little comedy. Are you, in fact, known as the funniest lawyer? Where?
Because I won the funniest lawyer in New Jersey contest every time the Bar Association sponsored it.
With actually
so I'm the
any other
Muhammad Ali of comedy among lawyers in New Jersey.
I'm sorry, I stepped on your line there, Assemblyman. How many funny lawyers could there actually possibly be?
Well, the competition's light, but I still won.
Unlike a competitive swing district in New Jersey.
Well, you know, it's like the funniest
lawyer
in the funniest accountant in New Jersey is a less competitive competition.
It's even less competitive.
Yes.
By the way, speaking of, let's get this out of the way. We're talking about the millionaires tax, the 2% cap on interest arbitration, free community college, a whole bunch of things, pension crisis. While we'll talk about that, you're going to be at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center. Let's put this up right now with Mike Marino, the comedian. We also had him on our one-on-one show. Mike is a funny guy. What are you doing on that bill?
April 7th, they wanted the funniest lawyer in New Jersey to start because, you know, Mike Marino's the bad boy of comedy.
He sure
so
is.
you need a lawyer to be around Mike Marino because he'll get himself in trouble.
So you're going to open up?
I am.
Let me ask you, you're always under pressure in the legislature as a public figure. Pressure performing as a stand-up on the stage at NJPAC, pressure?
Harder than a trial lawyer and harder than being the Republican leader in the House. Because if you miss one line and you lose the audience is gone. In the other job, you don't know if you lost you don't know if you lost a jury or you lost your constituency because they don't tell you.
You'll know right away.
Right.
Let's see if you lose anyone here. You ready?
Happy to go.
Millionaires tax. We're doing this right before the governor delivers his budget address in spring of 2018. Increasing taxes on millionaires. That's a good idea, right?
Bad.
Why?
Well,
we need the money.
The worst thing you can do in New Jersey is start sending a message that we're going to put more taxes on anyone. The reason people are leaving the state is not because there's too little tax. There's too much tax. How about starting with the other option, which is reducing expenditures or capping things like interest arbitration?
What does that mean, capping things like
Well, very simple. Right now, if you're a municipal employee and you've accumulated sick leave, you could get a payout of $400,000 or $500,000. Does that make any sense?
When you retire?
Yes.
Why?
Well, because historically, you could save these sick days and walk away with $400,000 or $500,000. You saw that with police chiefs, people in the fire department. Why are we talking about capping those kind of expenditures? Why aren't we
limiting them?
Exactly.
What amount?
Well, it should be zero, but I'd go with $15,000 as a cap. I'm willing to talk about it. But why are we talking about now? The first thing the Murphy administration is doing, in conjunction with the Democratic majority, is they're talking about which tax we should raise. Does that make any sense in New Jersey, really?
But respectfully, I mean, why not talk about finding ways to cut expenditures, but at the same time increase taxes because we need more revenue? Why is it one or the other? I don't understand that.
It may not be, but I haven't heard anything about capping anything. All I've heard is, are we going to do a millionaires tax on the Democratic side? Are we going to increase today? I think Steve Sweeney talked about raising the corporate tax by 3%, a surcharge.
The Senate President talked about that?
Yeah, that came out today.
By the way, we'll have him on our April edition of State of Affairs. Check us out then. We'll ask about it.
And I like these people personally, just so you know.
We're talking policy, not personal. Why is that a bad idea?
Why is it a bad idea to raise taxes? Because haven't you really got a sense of people? They're leaving this state. Businesses don't want to open in this state because they feel as if it's overtaxed. It's too expensive. This is not a complicated factor. This is the reality of New Jersey.
You will not be doing this in your act at NJPAC.
Well, it's not funny.
Not at all.
No.
How about, we've had several people here talking. We also had the head of Jackie Heyer, our producer, was at the Cannabis Association. They were talking about, come on, legalizing marijuana. Good idea?
Bad. Well, let me start with the fact that right now it's a criminal penalty. I've always said no one should have a criminal record for having small amounts of marijuana. I actually defend people in my law office in that regard.
So you're arguing for decriminalization?
Absolutely. We need to decriminalize it. You can have a civil fine at this point. Down the road, it is possible that recreational marijuana may exist. It's too quick an adjustment right now in New Jersey. We've got to look at that really closely. I don't think there's votes for it in the Senate right now.
Are there votes in the state legislature to support Governor Murphy's proposal? Strong advocacy, Assemblyman, for raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour. Is there support for it?
Welcome to another bad idea.
What's a good? Hold on. Do you just one good idea out of the Murphy administration is?
I think he has a good heart, and I think he cares about
I said
people.
policy ideas.
Yeah, I have to give that some thought, but I'll answer the question as a minimum wage. I'm going to come up with the good Murphy ideas.
Do minimum wage.
Well, actually, he's working on New Jersey Transit, and I think
and
that's
getting
really
a whole new
important.
group of people in there and improve the transit system.
I think
right?
it's a good idea to work on New Jersey Transit.
And excuse me, I'm sorry for interrupting, but I also know that you think that President Trump is doing the wrong thing by threatening not to fund the Gateway Tunnel, which is going to help access in and out of New York and throughout the entire Eastern Seaboard. The governor's right on that, isn't he?
I absolutely agree that Donald Trump has done some bad things for New Jersey. He eliminated our property tax deduction. He eliminated our SALT deduction, meaning state and local taxes. I want to see him move forward on fully funding or helping us significantly fund a tunnel and transportation
project. The Gateway
Tunnel. I'm happy to talk against Donald Trump when he talks against New Jersey. I have no problem with that. And you remember, I didn't endorse Donald Trump for president.
Go back, $15 an hour minimum wage.
Bad idea. Look, once again, you have to increase the minimum wage, but to go from $8 and change to $15 overnight, bad idea. You have to allow businesses to adjust. And there are many businesses that will simply go automated once you go to $15. Down the road, you slow. That's what I'm talking about, compromise. That's why I'm doing rallies for the reasonable people. Find middle ground. Don't be.
You're out there doing rallies real quick, 30 seconds left. Describe these rallies.
Rallies, I want people who are in the middle of the political spectrum to get together and talk rationally to each other, not extremists yelling at each other. That's the mistake in Washington.
Simon, how is it that all the years you've been in this, you have different views from a whole range of Democrats, but you're still able to have civil conversation? How do you do that?
Because it's not personal.
It isn't, is it?
It's not personal. You were a Democratic Assemblyman. I like you.
Why do you even bring that up?
Well, because I think that's part of your career history. And, you've been so successful. I figured if I get in the Assembly, I could be Steve Adubato someday. You know what
you're trying to say, that I was in for a ridiculously short one term, then voted out of office. That's what you're really implying, is it not?
No, I'm saying that you did some great interviews with Chris Christie. I think that's going to be considered one of the greatest interviews in the history of New Jersey television.
Wait till you see the interviews with Governor Murphy. Thank you.
Oh, I can't wait.
By the way, April 7th, NJ PAC. Thank you.
Thanks.
Enjoy. That's it for this edition of State of Affairs. Let's continue the conversation. Follow me on Twitter @Steve Adubato, and I promise we will see you next week. Thank you, funny lawyer, legislator.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Agnes Veris NJTV studio at 2 Gateway. Funding has been provided by the law firm of Gibbons, P.C., RWJ Barnabas Health, the New Jersey Education Association, the Northeast Regional Council of Carpenters, New Jersey Resources, NJ Best, International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 825, and by NJM Insurance Group, and by these public-spirited organizations, individuals, and associations committed to informing New Jersey citizens about the important issues facing the Garden State, and by Employers Association of New Jersey.